existing known fossil fuel reserves that we know there are, we cannot use more than 1/5 of these reserves if we want to avoid human catastrophe on this planet because of climate change. This is a well-known fact, and Exxon itself was actually one of the first corporations who realized that. In 1983, there was a 500-page report called Climate Changing, which was put together by Exxon, and it was the first comprehensive report about climate change. There was nothing new in there for scientists, but it was new that all that material was put together. And it's really important, that Exxon realizes the facts. I mean, we are here in a church. We are all mortal beings. What we tell our grandchildren when we use these fossil fuels, burn up the planet. Already now we see the heat waves, the wildfires, the droughts, the floods. But it will be much, much worse for future generations. And more oil and gas burning will put our civilization in peril.
Yeah, that's a super hard question. And obviously nobody in here can answer that. The issue is, you have this near-term need for energy, and you have the other side of the equation, which is reducing emissions. So there's a lot of people that are working on, obviously, reducing emissions, and I think you hear probably an awful lot about that. The issues with climate change, the issues with burning fossil fuels. And so I guess what I wanted to talk about was the other side, which is the demand and how we're going to supply that energy as we go forward. But it's a super hard question, and none of us can answer that. I can't answer it. I mean, I can't, give you a super amount of hope that in the next 10 years, we're going to move forward and be able to ameliorate all the fossil fuels that we'll be burning. What we're doing at ExxonMobil, to try to be part of the solution, is not necessarily wind and solar, because some of our competitors, our European competitors in particular, are investing heavily in wind and solar. There's really not a lot of lack of capital available to invest in wind and solar. ExxonMobil struggles to find what our niche would be in that kind of space, because we don't necessarily have any kind of unique capabilities that would make us do better with that. So the two things that we're working on really hard right now, aside from taking our operations and reducing, trying to get rid of flaring, we've kind of gone all the way down the road with cogen, where we have cogen in our plants to dramatically reduce the emissions and all that, is to try to get to some of the things that we could contribute that would be unique for us, that would offer not just an opportunity to invest, but also something that would replace oil and gas that you bring out of the ground. So the one that you've been seeing probably on the commercials is the algae one. I was just up there last week at the lab working on algae. Super interesting. It's a combination of ExxonMobil and synthetic genomics that are working on trying to make algae much higher yield, a lot less area intensive and all that. And the scale of the issue is very, very difficult. And it gets to the scale of the whole issue that you're talking about. If you want to replace 10% of the liquid fuels that we use in the United States right now, 10%, you have to plant, which is impossible, right? So algae is one of those things which uses a very fraction of that footprint, and would have the promise, if it kind of works out, of being something that you could run an airplane with, or run, a ship or a heavy vehicle or whatever. And that's why we're investing in that, to try to do better with that. Another one that is unique to ExxonMobil, we have carbon capture is one of those things that a few years ago everybody was working on carbon capture. The issue with carbon capture attached to fossil fuel plants is that it uses so much energy that it takes 40% more cost to run a fossil fuel plant that's going to capture CO2. We have a unique technology that captures carbon, has the promise of capturing carbon at a very small fraction of that cost. So with another company, it's called a carbonate fuel cell. we're working on that so that we could have, for example, an energy system where you would have some natural gas backup or whatever. That natural gas plant could have its carbon captured using these carbonate fuel cells and injected back into the into reservoirs. So those are the kind of things we're working on that kind of play to our strengths in order to, to not only reduce our footprint, but to try to replace some of these products with lower carbon alternatives.